My name is Natalie Brooks, and if you had met me a few years ago, you would have never guessed I'd end up here, sitting in a glass-walled office overlooking a row of gleaming cars, each one polished to perfection. From where I sit, the sunlight bounces off the hood of a jet-black Mercedes, and the faint hum of customers' conversations drifts up from the showroom floor. On the outside, I look calm, the silk blouse pressed just right, my nails painted a pale nude, my posture confident. But inside, I carry memories no one here could imagine. This morning, as I leaned back in my leather chair, my phone buzzed. The name on the screen froze me. Ethan Miller. My cousin. The same cousin who once laughed in my face, tossed me aside, and without a flicker of guilt, took the only thing I had back then. My car. For a moment, I let the phone buzz, the vibration rattling against the glass desk. My chest tightened, but I refused to let my hand shake as it once did. Instead, I sipped my coffee, inhaling the bittersweet aroma, and allowed myself a smile, not the soft, forgiving kind. A sharper one. The kind you wear when you know the tables have turned. He doesn't know what's waiting for him. And that's the best part. I was 19 when it happened, barely holding myself together, clinging to small pieces of independence like they were lifelines. My little blue Honda Civic wasn't just a car, it was my freedom, my job, my safe escape when the walls of family arguments grew too suffocating. But Ethan never saw it that way. To him, it was just an object, another thing he believed he had a right to because, well, Ethan always believed the world owed him something. It was a Saturday morning. I remember because I had just slipped on my favorite denim jacket, the one with frayed cuffs, and tied my hair up in a messy bun. I was heading to my shift at the bookstore when I stepped outside and found an empty space in the driveway. No Honda, just oil stains where it had been parked. My chest collapsed in on itself. An hour later, I got a call from Ethan. His voice was casual, cocky even. "Hey, Nat borrowed your car. I'll bring it back, eventually." My throat tightened. "Ethan, that's not a toy. I need it for work." He laughed. Actually laughed. "Relax. You'll survive. You always do." The call ended, leaving me shaking so badly, I dropped my phone. My hands curled into fists, my nails cutting into my palms until I felt the sting. That was the day something inside me cracked, or maybe finally snapped. I remember sitting on the front steps, hot tears streaking my face, when Grandma Rose shuffled outside. She had this uncanny way of knowing when my world was unraveling. She sat down beside me, her thin hand covering mine. On her wrist glimmered the silver charm bracelet she never took off. "Sweetheart," she said softly, "sometimes losing what you think you need is the only way you'll find what you're meant for." Her words hit me harder than Ethan's betrayal, because deep down I knew she was right. I couldn't keep relying on scraps of kindness from people who didn't value me. That night, I opened my laptop and started applying for jobs I never thought I'd dare to chase. Auto dealerships, service centers, even finance assistant roles. If Ethan thought stealing my car would keep me stuck, he had no idea he'd just lit the fire I'd been too afraid to strike. It wasn't just about a car anymore. It was about my life. And I wasn't going to let anyone else drive it. The first few months after Ethan took my car were brutal. I took the bus everywhere, long, uncomfortable rides where I'd clutch my backpack to my chest and stare out the window, silently repeating Grandma Rose's words like a prayer. Sometimes, losing what you think you need is the only way you'll find what you're meant for. I landed my first job at a local used car dealership. I wasn't on the sales floor at first. No, I started at the bottom, filing paperwork, answering phones, fetching coffee for salesmen who barely remembered my name. Most of them looked at me and saw nothing more than a shy, young girl who didn't belong in their world. But I watched. I listened. I learned. And then came Marian Collins, the dealership's top salesperson, a woman in her late 40s with fiery red hair and a voice that could cut through glass. She noticed me hovering by the office one afternoon as she closed a deal with a difficult client. Afterward, she turned, her eyes sharp but kind. "You've got the look of someone who wants more," she said. "Am I right?" That moment changed everything. Marianne became my mentor. She taught me the art of selling, Not with slick tricks or empty promises, but with knowledge, confidence, and respect. She'd place glossy brochures in my hands and make me memorize engine specs, safety ratings, financing options. She'd quiz me late into the night, sipping her endless black coffee while I scribbled notes until my fingers cramped. There were nights I cried in frustration, doubting myself, staring at my reflection in the bathroom mirror as mascara ran down my cheeks. "You're not cut out for this," I whispered more than once. But the next morning, I'd wake up, tie my hair back, and push myself again. The first time I sold a car on my own, I thought my heart would burst. A young couple came in looking for a family SUV, nervous and overwhelmed. I remembered Marianne's advice: listen before you speak. So I listened about their toddler, their budget, their worries. And then I matched them with a silver Toyota Highlander that fit like a glove. When they shook my hand, gratitude in their eyes, I felt a rush I'll never forget. That sale was small in the grand scheme of things, but to me, it was monumental. It was proof. Within 2 years, I was one of the dealership's top earners. My commission stacked up, and instead of wasting them, I saved every cent. I stopped posting much on social media. No flashy updates, no bragging. If my family asked, I kept it vague. Oh, just working. Getting by. They didn't need to know I was quietly climbing higher than any of them imagined. By the time I was 25, I had enough to buy into a dealership partnership of my own. Marianne stood beside me on signing day, squeezing my hand. "You did this, Natalie," she said with tears in her eyes. "Not because of anyone else. Because of you." I smiled, remembering the empty driveway, the sound of Ethan's laughter on the phone. He thought he took everything from me that day. But what he really gave me was fuel. The text came first. Short. Almost careless. "Hey Nat, long time. Can we meet?" For a second, I nearly laughed. After years of silence, that was all Ethan had to say? No apology, no explanation. Just the same entitled tone as always, tucked behind casual words. I didn't answer. But 2 days later, he showed up anyway. I was in my office at the dealership, my showroom. The glass walls glistened, polished floors reflected rows of luxury vehicles, and my name, Natalie Brooks, owner and CEO, gleamed in brushed steel behind my desk. My assistant buzzed me. "There's a man asking for you. Says his name is Ethan Miller." For a heartbeat, my chest tightened, old memories rushing back, the empty driveway, his mocking laugh. But I steadied myself. "Send him in." The door opened, and there he was. Same swagger, though dulled now by something else, weariness, maybe desperation. His hair was a little thinner, his leather jacket scuffed, but his smirk was intact. "Natalie," he drawled, like we'd just bumped into each other at a coffee shop. I folded my hands on the desk, tilting my head.
"Ethan."
His eyes flicked around the office. I could see the wheels turning in his head as he took in the space, the sleek furniture, the abstract art on the walls, the view of the showroom floor below. For once, he didn't have something smart to say. Finally, he broke the silence.
"Wow."
"This is yours?" I let the pause hang just long enough to sting.
"Yes."
"All of it." His laugh was forced, awkward.
"Damn, Nat.
"You really cleaned up, huh? Guess the little civic days are long gone." I leaned back in my chair, letting the leather creak softly. "You mean the Civic you stole from me? The one that forced me onto buses and sidewalks until I clawed my way into this industry?"
"Yeah."
"Those days are long gone." Color rose in his cheeks. He shifted, scratching the back of his neck. "Look, about that. I was young, I was stupid. You know how it is." "No, Ethan." My voice was steady, sharp. "I know how it is. Because while you were busy taking what didn't belong to you, I was busy building what no one thought I could. And now," I gestured toward the showroom floor, where a family admired a gleaming BMW. "Now, I own the very world you thought you locked me out of." He stared, his mouth opening, closing, no words forming. For the first time in my life, I watched Ethan Miller at a loss. The silence stretched until I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. Finally, he muttered, I need your help. Of course. That was always the reason. Ethan never came around unless he needed something. I stood, smoothing the silk of my blouse, and walked to the glass wall overlooking the floor. The cars below sparkled like jewels under the spotlights, symbols of everything I'd earned. When I turned back to face him, my heels clicked like punctuation marks across the tile. You came here thinking I'd still be that girl, I said softly. The one who cried on the porch when you laughed at her. But she's gone. She had to be. Ethan's eyes dropped. His smirk was gone now, replaced by something else.
Shame.
I let the silence linger, savoring the shift in power. This wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about truth. You wanted a car, Ethan. I finished, my voice calm, unwavering. But I built the showroom. Ethan sat down slowly, like the weight of the leather chair was too much for him. His eyes darted around my office again, searching for some version of the cousin he once knew, the Natalie he could push around. But that girl was long gone. I messed up, he admitted, his voice low. Things haven't been going well. Lost my job, bills piling up. I thought maybe you could save you. I cut in. My tone was sharp but not cruel. I wanted him to feel the truth. He swallowed hard. Just help. Lend me something. A car. Money. Anything. I folded my arms across my chest and leaned against the desk, looking down at him the way he once looked down at me. The roles had flipped so completely, it almost felt unreal. You know what, Ethan? I will help you. But not the way you expect. His brow furrowed. What's that supposed to mean? I took a slow breath, choosing my words carefully. If you want my help, you're going to earn it. No more handouts. No more taking from people who worked harder than you ever bothered to. If you want a car, you'll work here. On the floor. Selling. Learning.
Sweating.
The way I did. His head snapped up. You want me to be a car salesman? He said it like it was an insult. I didn't flinch.
Yes.
And more than that, I want you to rebuild yourself. No more blaming the world. No more shortcuts. You show up every day, you grind, and maybe you'll earn enough to drive something off this lot. Not before. He scoffed, shaking his head. That's ridiculous. I stepped closer, lowering my voice so only he could hear. What's ridiculous is you thinking you can keep living off other people's work. What's ridiculous is you believing you can stroll back into my life and take again.
No, Ethan.
Not anymore. The silence that followed was heavy. For once, he couldn't argue. His shoulders slumped. I could see the fight drain out of him. I softened my tone, just a fraction. I'm not doing this because I hate you. I'm doing this because I won't let you keep being that man, the one who took without giving, who mocked instead of encouraged. If you want a new chapter, you'll have to write it yourself. I'll give you the paper and pen. The rest is on you. Ethan's eyes flicked up to mine, glassy and uncertain. And if I don't, I straightened, returning to my chair with a calm smile. Then you walk out that door the same man you were when you walked in, empty-handed. Your choice. For the first time in our lives, he realized he had no power left over me. And I could see it, the shift, the beginning of something new. The weeks that followed were strange. For the first time, Ethan actually showed up on time for something that mattered. He wore a borrowed tie, his shoes scuffed, but he stood on the showroom floor every morning, learning how to greet customers, how to listen, how to earn a commission instead of demanding one. At first, he stumbled. He complained under his breath, fumbled over specs, and hated rejection. But every time he turned toward my office window, he found me watching. Not gloating. Not mocking. Just reminding him with my steady gaze. You chose this. Slowly, something shifted. He started asking questions. He stayed late to shadow the senior staff. He even closed his first small sale, a pre-owned sedan, and for the first time in years, I saw pride in his face that wasn't borrowed or fake. One evening, after the last customer had left, I walked him out. The sun was setting, painting streaks of orange across the cars lined up in the lot. He hesitated before speaking. You know, not that Civic? The one I took from you. I thought I was winning that day. His voice cracked a little. Turns out, I was losing the only person who ever believed in me. I didn't answer right away. Instead, I touched the charm bracelet on my wrist, Grandma Rose's bracelet, feeling the cool silver press into my skin. Her words echoed in my heart. Sometimes, losing what you think you need is the only way you'll find what you're meant for. I turned to Ethan, my voice soft but firm. You haven't lost me, Ethan, but you're going to have to earn me back, just like you're earning everything else now. He nodded, his jaw tight, his eyes damp. And for once, he didn't argue. As I locked the showroom and slipped into my car, not a Civic anymore, but a sleek black Mercedes, I glanced in the rearview mirror. Behind me stood Ethan, hands in his pockets, staring at the building with a mix of regret and hope. And I realized something. He had taken my car, yes. But in losing it, I had gained the drive to build an empire. That loss had been my beginning. I smiled to myself as the engine purred to life. My cousin took my car, I whispered. But now, I own the showroom.